Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Wine, Women, and Words. I'm Michelle, and with me is Diana. Hello. So, clearly, I am exhausted right now, so I apologize if I am not my usual super hyper self. We are in Williamsburg, and my mom and I have been all over the place in the past 2 days. Yesterday we did Jamestown and Yorktown and Jamestown and the American Revolution Museum and something else. I think that's it. And then today we did Colonial Williamsburg and an antique mall, which was and then we took the kids to the pool for a couple hours.
You are an adventurous woman for taking kids to an antique mall. Let me just say that. Because I go to antique malls all the time, and yeah, taking children to that. I wander around myself going, okay, hands in, don't touch anything. So yeah, kudos to you for bringing kids there.
Well, we sufficiently wore them out at Williamsburg. We were there from 9:30 to I think 1:30, and they were awake the whole time. And it was like a 10-minute drive to the antique mall. So they basically slept. I think they slept through most of the antique mall. So they didn't really do anything.
Nice.
And I left without buying anything, even though I saw an entire collection of the Nancy Drew series and I think 10 Oz books.
Oz books are weird for the antique markets. Because I go antiquing all the time, and I've actually come across a few Oz books, and I actually have a collection of antique books. I collect from 1950 and back. But Oz books are weird. They're not really worth anything unless you have first editions, older versions, and they're really finicky. They're really hard to find one that's worth the money for the price. I found one in Palm Springs that was in okay condition, and they wanted $25 for it. And I was like, oh, yeah, this is so great. And then Ryan goes and looks it up online because, you always check when you're doing these antique shopping things, the real value of something. And it was $12 was the value of the book.
Yeah.
Yeah, so and that's happened 2 other times with Oz books. They're really tricky to get. So those I understand. The Nancy Drew, though, on the other hand, I mean, you passed up a good one.
I know. The only thing is, we flew here, so in the back of my mind, I'm like, okay, just remember that anything you buy, you have to fit in your suitcase on the way. Or I guess I could mail it to myself.
Yeah, just mail it to yourself. Do media mail, you'll be all right. They count as media mail.
Yeah, that's true. So, and I would have been good if we didn't go swimming, but we went swimming because the resort that we're staying at has a splash pad, and it has one of those, I forget what they're called, the, where you walk into the pool and it gets deeper, kind of like a beach instead of stairs. So the kids were just having a blast running into the pool, and I was swimming with them. My mom even swam with them, and Lily doesn't know how special she is that my mom went in the water for her. But that's those 2 hours is really what set me over the edge. And my mom woke me up half an hour going, you can't fall asleep. You have your show tonight. I know.
Well, if you're still doing it, I would just do it with Mom.
So, what are you drinking tonight?
I'm drinking Artius. It's a California Chardonnay with a really pretty flower on it. It looks like the California state flower, California poppy.
Oh, pretty.
Yeah, it's a really nice buttery flavor. Goes excellent with mac and cheese.
Fine dining.
Yes.
So, I don't know. All right, I'm having this red wine, or it's a red blend, and it's called Paranoia. And I don't know if you can really see, maybe not.
Yeah, it's not coming up well in the video.
I found one.
That's the one with the eyes blink, right?
Yeah, last week I found one called Insomnia.
Okay.
And that's where the labels blinks at you.
Okay.
And this one is paranoia, so like the eyes don't close, but they just kind of like shift back and forth, like they're watching everything. I kind of want to know if, now that I know that there's insomnia and paranoia, I want to know if like what other categories there are.
Those sound like really interesting lines. Is it a good blend?
It's good. I liked Insomnia a little bit more. I think that was a Chardonnay. Was that a Chardonnay? Do you remember, Mom?
Sorry?
The Insomnia, was that a Chardonnay?
No, Pinot Grigio.
Oh, it was a Pinot Grigio.
Oh, okay.
But the label was really cool.
It was a really cool label.
So
tonight we're going to be talking fortune teller.
Yes.
All things fortune.
Sorry. Before we do, I just want to share this awesome book that I found in one of the gift shops.
Oh, before you do that, okay. We're going to warn people. We are going to be discussing most of the book tonight. Michelle, you got, what page are you on?
I'm on. Look how worn this book is. Like, it is.
That's love. That is love. I thought mine was bad, where I've got like the bends at the bottom, and like I think I got a couple of lunch food stains on it from when I was eating my lunch. I know there's a Lilo paw in here, paw print. But
no,
yours
is like, this is like, it's been to the
it.
beach. It's been, I spilled some water on it on accident. I'm on page 309. So okay. I have like less than 100 pages left.
So this is the official warning for people who have not read the book up to page 309. We will be discussing page 309, up to page 309. So if you don't want spoilers, this is your opportunity to leave. And to give you time to leave so that we do not give you spoilers, Michelle's going to talk about her really awesome book that she found.
Oh, very well done.
Thank you.
So we all know that I have recently developed an interest/minor obsession with the Civil War female spies and Rose Greenhow in particular. And I found this book at the gift shop called Glory, Passion, and Principle. And it is all about 5 women who, 8 women. Here are the lesser known stories of 8 influential females who fought for freedom for their country and themselves at all costs. So it looks like it's about Abigail Adams, Phyllis Wheatley, Mercy Otis Warren, Sybil Ludington, and Lydia Darrow, who were military spies.
They were.
And then Molly Pitcher, Deborah Sampson, and Nancy Ward, who were women posing as men to fight in the field.
I really think your subconscious is trying to steer you towards writing a spy novel, historical fiction spy novel. I really feel like this is something your mind's is telling you, and you're fighting it because you're obsessed with Rose. You're obsessed with the spies from the Civil War. And I say obsessed in a good way. And now you're obsessed with the female spies from the Revolutionary War. I feel like your mind might be onto something and you need to catch up.
I know. I can see it happening. And I even found another book about the Civil War spies at the gift shop. But at that point, I had like 4 books in my hand, and I pared it down to just one because gift shop books are like insanely inflated.
Yeah, that's when you take the names, put them on your Goodreads, and then buy them somewhere slightly cheaper later.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So one book, it was $30 there, and I found it on Amazon for like $12. So I'm pacing myself. You know, Greer shared that book, The Magruder's Cabinet of Curiosities.
Mm-hmm.
Found that on Amazon. It's in my cart.
I really want to buy that. I really want to read it. And I'm over here looking at my overflowing bookcase going, I can't get another book. I can't buy another book. Especially since I got 2 awesome books in the mail yesterday. So, yeah, I can't get another book.
That's what I tell myself all the time, and yet somehow, every now and then, books just magically appear at my house. I don't know how it happens.
Yeah. I'm not going to turn them away. They need a good home. And people look more favorably on book hoarders than they do on dog hoarders.
Right? You can be like the crazy cat lady or the crazy dog lady, and then you'll just be that weird woman at the end of the street. If you buy a lot of books, then you're that smart, interesting, well-read woman.
Eccentric woman. People look at you and they think you're smart and eccentric. They look at you if you have a lot of cats like you're the crazy lady from The Simpsons.
Exactly. And no one really wants to do that.
No. Though if you do have a lot of cats, we are not making fun of you, but we really do honor your fortitude for being able to care for so many animals, says the girl who has a menagerie.
Yeah, if I could, I would have probably like a dozen cats. I don't have any cats.
I don't know what's gotten into me. For some reason, I see these pictures of like kittens and stuff. And I'm like, oh, I want one. I just want I want another animal. But then when I really seriously think about it, Lilo is my shadow. She's, if she fights for space on my lap with my laptop, even having been known to actually knock it off my lap and fits of temper tantrums. So I can only imagine if I got a kitten, how upset she would be and how much she would take it out on me. So I keep thinking about that to keep me from getting another animal. Then, in fact, if I ended up with a cat, my husband would have a really good argument for getting another reptile and no more animals.
Lily keeps asking for a cat. Every time we walk the dog, there's a neighborhood cat that we always see in the window. Mm-hmm. And every time she sees the cat in the window, she goes, I want a kitten.
Lily wants everything.
But Lily wants everything.
She is your daughter, right?
Yes.
That's okay. River needs a cat. He needs a kitten of his own.
Yeah, but then I have to take care of it.
Yeah, there's that. Mm. So the fortune teller.
Yes.
We've got some stuff to unpack, and I had to make you put a cork in it earlier because you were about to vent on me, and I was like, we've got to save it for the show. So, Cabe, let's unpack that.
I admire authors who are willing to kill their babies. And especially if it's not like a senseless killing off of characters like certain HBO shows that just kill off characters just because it will devastate the fans.
Mm-hmm. Or just because it gets fun and addicting. Not that I know anything about this. Mm-hmm.
But it's still so sad, especially because Cabe was such a sweetheart. But for some reason, like when that you found out about the accident that he was hit by a car, for some reason, as soon as I read that, I was like, oh, he's gonna die. Mm-hmm. So I wasn't like super, I wasn't really super surprised when you got the phone call.
Yeah, it was kind of like warming you up to it. It was like she was patting your back. Okay. Then bam, he dies. Remember that point when I was like, okay, Captain America, I will censor myself. And I was like, frack. That was right after he died. And I was like, oh.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah.
The whole reveal of Theo being Lydia's great, how many greats? Great grandson?
Mm-hmm. Because we haven't gotten into that. I mean, what'd you think of the grandmother storyline of how Similes ended up being adopted in this family?
What I really want to do, and if I have time before Gwendolyn comes on the show next Thursday, mm-hmm. I actually want to sit down and map out on paper where the cards went because that's like it's a really complicated path, and it went like out of the family and then back into the family and to, you know, it went through a lot of hands to get to Simile.
Mm-hmm.
But I love Lydia, and I love that like they looked out for each other, and the whole time I was like rooting for them, and I was so happy for them. But I haven't gotten to the part where Nettie dies, because she has to die, right? She said that she wasn't going to survive her time with the Russian doctor, right? Like, she told Lydia that she was going to go on and be happy, and the rest of her life was going to be filled with love.
She, let me make sure I'm not giving. No, she survives. I mean, she tells Lydia that her rest of her life is going to be filled with love, but she doesn't say that hers isn't. I mean, Nettie knows that she's got heartbreak, but Nettie survives. She survives all of that.
Oh, yeah, because like I got past the point where they escaped, and that one soldier like let them go.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't read the last part, but like when the part where she told Lydia she read her cards, and Lydia asked her like, "Well, what about you?" And she just kind of like started crying. So it was like, oh no, she's not going to make it, but she has to, because
she's the one who gives up Simile to the parents.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you also have to think about these powers that these women have, where they're able to see far enough out in the future where she starts crying, because she knows her daughter is going to die. She knows she's going to have to give up her granddaughter. She knows that she's going to be pretty much living her life in hiding, and these things are going to be happening to her. So she doesn't have as happy of a life as Lydia has.
Well, I really liked Lydia. I don't know. Theo was kind of like a little meh to me the whole time, because he was like super standoffish, and we still don't know who VS is.
You don't. You're gonna find out. You're gonna find out.
Stupid text messages.
I can't wait for you to figure out who VS is, and I get all the text messages from you at 3:00 in the morning, going, "Oh my god." Because I know that's still going to happen. Because I was so hoping that you would finish so that we could discuss those stupid text messages that drove me nuts through the whole book. Because I have this really big secret, and you know how hard it is for me to keep a secret.
Well, you know, at first you think that the text messages are someone like looking out for her, and then midway you find out that they're definitely not trying to help her. They're actually working against her.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last exchange, I'm trying to find it. The last set of text messages that were sent were right after, oh, here it is. Right after Cabe died. And
there's another one later on in the book that you haven't gotten to. There's one more. That's not the last.
So the exchange that I just read was, Beijing is canceled, friend is dead. And the reply was, I sent flowers. And then the next message is, does this not mean anything to you? And the last reply is, more than you know. So now it's kind of like sounding like one of whoever these people are, one of them, it's getting like a little too much for them. Like it's not what they signed on, what they signed on for.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm starting to think it's Mikhail. And if it is, I'm going to be really annoyed, because I liked him when he was like the oblivious boss,
mm-hmm.
who was super nice and supportive, but was not involved. And I'm starting to think that he is involved. And do you know who, okay, so fantasy cast.
Okay.
I was thinking Ralph Fiennes for Mikhail.
Ralph Fiennes?
Yes.
Names you think he's been in?
Okay, I just watched Snowden last night, and he was in Snowden, which is why he was on my mind. But he was also, wasn't he in Harry Potter? Oh, he was Voldemort.
Okay. Yeah, now I just pulled him up. So you for Mikhail?
Yes, because he's like kind of like
I could see that. I could totally see that. Yeah, he fits the profile. I like it.
I knew he was in Harry Potter.
Yeah, Harry Potter. He's also been in he was in Schindler's List. He was Schindler. Which now makes me, now that I've actually put Voldemort with Schindler from Schindler's List, they totally ruined Schindler's List for me.
I've actually never seen that movie. I feel like something is wrong with me.
I did when I was younger, but I'm still reeling from the pain of the zookeeper's wife. So I'm kind of turned off from all Holocaust themed stories at the moment because they're just too sad and too just gut-wrenching real. So yeah. And for those of you out there who have not seen The Zookeeper's Wife, this girl right here, ugly crying. Ugly crying, somebody just killed my dog in front of me bad. That's how upset I was by this movie. And I couldn't even finish it. I got maybe an hour in. Maybe at most.
My mom and I watched a movie on Netflix once about World War II, thinking like, oh, this will be an interesting movie. It was The Boy in the Striped Pajamas. Don't watch it. Just like don't.
I could handle when things happen to humans a lot better than I can when they happen to animals. Like with Cabe, he got caught up in this, but he also chose to get caught up in this. He chose to help out Simile. He asked for the cards to go and review them. So I feel bad and I felt anger, but a lot of it was by his choice. But when it's a freaking animals,
but it could have been a dog.
Right? There's no free will for them to choose. Their only purpose in life is to make people happy, and you're gonna go kill them? I can't do this. I cannot handle that. Animals and horses. I'm not okay with horses dying, so I'm not so good with old war movies. Says a historical fiction writer, but still.
I got so annoyed. I think that's maybe why I was also not as upset about the whole Cabe thing. Was I got so pissed off that she lost the cards. I'm like, really? Like, you had them for all of 10 minutes?
I would not have given all of them up to Cabe. That's another thing. I am right there with you. She has them and she gives them to her friend. And then he gets into the car accident. And it's like, duh.
And all right, so obviously, like, he's her best friend and she trusts him. But why would, when you know that there's all this stuff going on and powerful people are at play and your company's been broken into.
Don't trust anybody. I would have handed over to her one card. Over to Cabe, one card. One card to test.
You didn't need the whole collection.
Yes, exactly. You and I are in the same mindset.
Although I will say, walking around Williamsburg and at the antique mall today, I was definitely keeping an eye out for old playing cards.
Sometimes you find them.
I saw they have like all these replica card decks, playing cards in the gift shop, and I was like, it's not the same. I want antique, Egyptian era, Cleopatra era tarot cards, hand painted with paint mixed with my DNA.
Good luck with that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay with the tarot cards that you can buy at like Barnes and Noble.
I'm also really interested in talking to Gwendolyn about the research that she put into all the handwriting, because she like goes into handwriting and how she was like studying her dad's handwriting and how, you know, there was no evidence of like a stroke in his writing leading up to it. Like, he didn't seem like a sick person. His handwriting was still healthy. Am I about to find out that her father's death wasn't natural and that someone murdered him to try to get to the cause?
These questions. Because I'm going to answer them one way or the other, and you're going to be like, why'd Why'd you answer this for me? You need to find out. You need the process. So that is a very good question. You're going to have to finish the damn book to figure it out.
I know. I have like 50 pages left.
Well, you know, speaking of Theo, because you touched on a little before about how standoffish he was, I actually really like him. And one of the things I really like about him is that what we see in a lot of books, don't get me wrong, I love the All Souls trilogy, but Matthew, the main character in that, got really alpha male and really all up in Diana's business. I think one of the reasons why Theo is kind of standoffish is because he recognizes that she's got to figure out this stuff on her own, and he doesn't want to be all up in there. He wants to actually let her do her thing. And I was thinking about it after I finished the book, because he's there in the beginning to help set things up, and then he's gone. He's off on business. He's off doing his thing. So he's off in the background, kind of keeping an eye on things while she's figuring herself out and figuring everything out. And then at the end, he comes in. He doesn't come in to save her come and whisk her away and save her. He comes in to help, to support her. So he's there, like at this point that you're at, he's already back in the book. He's helping her. He's using his resources to help her find her mother, because her mother was just kidnapped. So yeah, he's there to help her out. But he's not a dominant male, and I love that about him.
Well, when you put it that way.
Exactly. You see, we've had these discussions about, at least for me, where you've laughed at me, where the really alpha males I find annoying in books, where you have these really strong feminist characters, and then they end up with these alpha males to try to just push them around, and it gets annoying. And then we get Theo, who's not that way. He's kind of like a feminist, I would say, in regards to that.
Speaking of, can we talk about Bren for a second? Because he's gotten old real quick.
I love that you threw in the finger and everything. Yeah, I'd have dumped him too.
Like, I felt bad for him, and obviously, like, he's such a sweet guy. But, like, his whole, like, when he's the one that, like, pulled the alpha male when the whole exchange between him and Semele and Theo at the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
Like, really? Now is not the time, okay?
Right? You don't know what's going on. Her friend just died. And didn't y'all just break up? This is not the point. Not the time for this.
Right? I mean, obviously, like, Cabe is his friend too, so I understand why he was at the hospital. But wasn't he, like, kind of... Did she meet Bren through Cabe? I forget. Or did they just did Cabe and Bren become friends because of Semele?
I think they became friends because of Semele.
I think so too.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, with Bren, he's that kind of guy where I had this discussion before. I got into the argument with your cousin about this, about Ed Sheeran, where he's I'm the nice guy. Everybody loves me. I don't get why girls don't want to stay with me because I'm such a nice guy. And then they don't do what they want, and they turn around and write this really bad song about them. And then they're like, see, I don't know why girls don't like me. Because you write bad songs about them, dude. That's why. And I feel like if Bren was a musician, he'd be writing a song about Semele and talking about how she did him wrong, when really she was honest with him. It wasn't working for her. They weren't right together.
Well, and she saw his future wife, and it wasn't her.
And she was honest about that. She didn't string him along. She didn't play with his emotions. She was upfront, and this is how it's got to go. And, I mean, yeah, he went off the deep end on that.
Oh, and I'm going to suggest a recasting for Cabe. Last week we were saying John Krasinski.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to counter that with Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
I like it. I approve. And I still think that Kenzie from Lost Girl, Kenzia Solo, I think her name is.
Yeah, I forget.
Yeah, let me do a quick look. I
Were you
still
saying
like
for Nettie or for
for Rena, the Russian girl.
Raina.
Yeah,
Yes.
Rena. She's. I just when I saw it, I see her as Rena because
Who do we
she's.
think for and we'll get back to her in a second.
Mhm.
Who are we thinking for Nettie?
That's a good question. Not sure who I want for Nettie.
These are the serious questions we ponder every day.
Oh, totally. And that's why when the casting for All Souls Trilogy came out and I looked at it, I was like, Michelle and I approve. I like this
And then
casting.
Deborah Harkness totally liked it on Twitter.
Yeah, and I don't think Deborah Harkness realized how serious I was about that tweet.
It's like, we sign off on this. It's okay. You can move forward now.
Yes, these are serious suggestions. We need to be casting people. So Hollywood people out there, you need to make a movie, just see Michelle and I, give us the book first or the script, we'll help you out. Oh gosh, I kind of see, part of me leans towards Judi Dench.
Yeah, but Nettie is like a young girl when all that
I'm
happened.
talking, because we also have Grandma. Her as the grandma too.
Judi
That's
Dench
why I
would be good for her grandma. I forgot what her, like Kimza, something. Hold on.
Oh, from the Gypsies. Now that one I see is somebody completely different. I don't know if have you watched Fernie Fisher's Murder Mysteries yet?
I have not.
Okay, you need to watch those on Netflix for starters. Because I'm highly disappointed that you have not watched those yet.
I've seen them, and they like scream Diana.
And you will adore them because you will adore her because she's absolutely lovely. But the main character in that is played by Essie Davis.
Kezia. It's Kezia. Kezia, maybe. That's her grandma. And I can totally see Judi Dench as Nettie's grandma.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Because she's got that whole regal bit about her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Nettie, my mind is like shot right now, so I'm failing to.
I'll have to think about that. We might have to consult Gwen on that next week.
And who else haven't we? We haven't cast Mika. Oh no, we did. We just said Ralph Fiennes.
Yeah.
And Cabe, we have Raina, we have Theo, we have.
You know, there's a lot of people to cast in this book. We've got a huge cast of characters.
And Lydia.
Yes.
Lilia. I'm sorry, not Lydia. Lilia.
Yes, the
Theo's great grandmother.
Yes.
Her name. I've been saying Lydia this whole time. It's not Lydia.
And those, I mean, I could totally see like doing some no-name younger girls because I mean they're teenagers at that point. Yeah. So I can see it being some young girls who are, you know, first time acting, young German girls, Russian girls. Something along those lines. I say German because they end up in Germany, but yeah. So back to Raina. I want your thoughts on her because I've been dying for your thoughts on her because I know she's the kind of girl that you just want to claw her eyes out.
This bitch.
Hey, watch the language.
I mean, I kind of feel like she's probably one of the people who didn't realize exactly how far this whole thing reached when she first got involved. Because when she has her exchange with Semele at the hospital after Cabe's accident, she tells Semele, like, this is your fault. You brought him into this. You caused this accident. So I feel like whoever brought her in was like, this will only affect Semele, and Semele will be removed from your life, and she'll be out of Cabe's life, and you can have Cabe all to yourself, and you don't have to worry about Semele anymore. And then he got sucked into it.
I'm nodding that this. Yeah, because I mean, when it starts off, like Cabe and Reina are so mismatched that, you know, it's to the point where I wonder if this is actually based on like real people, because you see these matches all the time where you see these people who, you know, this really, really nice guy with this crappy woman who treats him horribly, and, you know, really nice and nerdy, and then they've got like this really hot, bitchy woman. And I totally thought of that when they were first together, and I was like, why? I don't get it. But then as it goes on, you see that Reina actually does have feelings for him. She actually really does like him.
And I do feel bad for her in that sense, because obviously, like, her boyfriend just got in a car accident and died, and she's dealing with the guilt of the fact that she was, you know, she played a part in it, and she maybe even caused it. Like, maybe she wasn't necessarily driving the car, but, you know, she couldn't do anything to stop it either.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he got more involved than she wanted him to get involved.
Yes.
I really feel like that was something.
And I love his brother. Like, I know he's such a minor character, but Oliver is like the sweetest guy.
That's one of the lovely things about this book, is that, as we mentioned, there's so many little characters in here. And I don't want to say little to belittle any of the characters, but there are so many minor characters, and you have these little like short stories going throughout the book, but they're all really well developed. And I love that there's no, you know, underdeveloped minor character.
Now, and I thought, like, when earlier in the book, when Semele was going to Cabe's house for dinner because she didn't want to go back to her apartment by herself because she was scared, I thought it was kind of like a little over detailing, like talking about his brother, and like giving background. But now it makes sense because you came back and pulled him back into the story, so you knew who this guy was, and Gwendolyn didn't have to waste time during like such an intense scene to be like, Oliver is Cabe's brother who lives in da 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 da, and he does this. Like, she handled all of that backstory earlier in the book, and could just pull him into the story.
And how can you not love a brother who gives you wine?
Right.
I know. My brother needs to work on this. He needs to give me more wine. Though my sister is going to be taking good care of me on that. So I trained her well. Did I tell you? Oh my gosh, I didn't tell you. So as you guys know, I'm planning a trip to France to go visit my sister, who's living there right now. So slight sibling rivalry. And we were discussing the tour. I think I might have mentioned this last week. We were discussing the tour, and then I said, no, I don't need a tour. I was thinking about needing a tour. No. I didn't discuss it last week because I brought up the show last week, and I was like, oh, we talked to this wine expert. And the tours only do like 2 stops for the day, and it was like $500 for all 4 of us. And I was like, that's kind of extreme. Maybe we should just go explore this wine route, the Alsace wine route on our own. Just rent a car and just drive on our own. And I was like, we can hit to a couple wineries. The expert that we had on our show said only 2 wineries because, you get the palate and everything. And my sister's like, I don't care. I go to those wine tastings to get wasted. And I was like, oh my God, I have never been more proud of my sister in all my life. I helped create this, and I am so proud.
She's all grown up.
She is. I remember when she was 12 years old, and I took her to Disneyland for her first girls' day outing with a friend of mine. And we just watched Van Wilder for the first time. And if you've ever watched Van Wilder, he's got a little assistant that he's like, write that down. So she and I would make comments, and we'd be like, write that down. She pulls out, she's 12 years old. She's got a little purse with her because she was a big girl. Pulls out her little notebook and a pen, and she starts writing down all of our advice. It was really great until Amanda tells her, don't have sex till you're in college. And I was like, oh, unless you're married, because I know.
Don't write that down. Don't write that down.
Yeah, don't write that down. Don't write that down. Because my parents I knew they were going to find the notebook, and I would have gotten into so much trouble. Mind you, I think at the time I was only, I was 22, 23. Yeah, I was in my early 20s at the time. So, but I was still worried about getting in trouble with my parents.
That never goes away.
It doesn't. It really doesn't.
So, and this is just a good kind of point to mention. You guys still have a week to enter the giveaway.
Yeah.
Are we going to, well, Diana's in charge of the giveaway stuff. I don't really know how it works. Are we pulling the names of the winners during the show or?
I'm going to pull them just before the show, and then we'll announce them on the show.
Okay.
They'll have the names. So they might end up knowing ahead of time in case I need to get the take care of getting the mailing address for them from Gwen.
Okay.
For Gwen from them. However, I'm too close to line in. Y'all know what I mean.
And you can enter. We're giving away one copy of each book, the Fortune Teller and the Memory Painter. So you can enter to win one of them or both.
No, one of them.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you can enter like.
You have to. Okay. You have the opportunity. You have three entries that you can do. You can subscribe to Wine Women Awards on YouTube. You can follow Gwen on Twitter or follow her on Facebook. And that gives you 3 entries, and you have the opportunity to win one or the other because we're going to give away 2 prizes. So you get 1 copy of this Fortune Teller, or you can get 1 copy of the Memory Painter. And I show my copy of the Memory Painter, but that's over behind me.
And we will be having Gwen on the show next week.
Mm-hmm.
This Saturday, we are having a special bonus episode.
Yeah, special bonus episode. I love our special bonus episodes.
We don't do them very often, but
that's why I'm special.
In the spirit of the fortune teller and tarot cards and psychics who can see the future, we are actually going to be having our own psychic on the show. Her name is Liz Nygaard, and I met her through the newspaper that I write for. I did an article on a paranormal investigation team out in the Lake County area called Shadow Hunters. And I'll actually post a link to the article on our Facebook page, shamelessly promote my work. But in case you guys want to learn a little bit more about them, they have their own YouTube series like we do. And their episodes are really good. I watched maybe like 4 or 5 of them getting ready for my interview with them. And Liz is just a total sweetheart. And she ordered a birthday cake milkshake during our interview, and that's how I knew that she and I were destined to be friends. So she probably knew that before she even met me, so I don't know.
So she's out there in North Carolina with you, right? You said, right?
She's back in Chicago.
Oh,
so
okay.
We'll be crossing 3 time differences.
Wow. Fantastic. Well, this is going to be fun, and I can't wait because it's going to be.
Yes, and that will be 5. Okay, it's going to be 6 p.m. North Carolina time, 5 p.m. Chicago time, 3 p.m. California time. So that is lined up for the day after tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And I know this episode is kind of short, but I'm really tired.
But we also started a little early too, so there's that. So we're not that short. And I mean, who really wants to listen to the 2 of us just talk for a full hour?
And we are fascinating.
Yeah, we are. We really are. Quite entertaining.
But
myself.
I need to go to sleep because
okay. You go to sleep
for me. Tired. All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining, and finish up the book for next Thursday. And be sure to check out our bonus episode on Saturday. I'll post the link to the article.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll even post
the giveaway.
And for the giveaway, obviously.
For the giveaway. And if you have any questions for Gwen between now and Thursday, definitely message us, and we will ask her.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thanks for joining, and we'll see you on Saturday.
See you guys Saturday. Bye.
Bye.